is crazy because we either get stuck with Haley and her one brain cell or Smally Balls Chuk and his no brain cells. I'm back. Time to talk about another day in Big Brother 28. Still kind of more of the same, but we'll talk about some little things. I do feel like yesterday in the house was a lot of me thinking, why are they saying that? Why are they doing that? These people say the most annoying things, kind of typical still, but yeah. One of the good things I did enjoy on the feeds early yesterday was that Mallory was still saying that if she wins HOH, she's going to put up whoever stays between Chuk and Haley, Kamu, and Dee. Melody saying, well, she's going to have to talk to Dee about it first. But it's just good to see that Mallory still is not listening to Drew or Melody and wanting to do her own thing. She will have to finally, win an HOH first in order to do this. If Mallory does do this, though, if she does put up Dee, Devens probably does use his diamond veto, which is a dilemma. But I could see him putting up Melody, maybe somebody else. But if he does do that, it just hurts Drew. So for me, it's kind of a win-win. Because if he does use his veto, he puts up Melody. I don't know if Drew really feels some kind of way because he's actually a terrible ally to Melody. But it does hurt Drew's game. And if it hurts Drew's game, it actually hurts the Vets' game because Drew is just so loyal to them even though they are constantly fucking with him. So a Mallory HOH would be nice if she actually is going to follow through with that idea. I would also just like to discuss the lack of logic with the two vet doormats, Drew and Barrett in general, because one of the things they've been saying these past 2 days about why they want to go to the end with the vets is that nobody's going to want to see a vet win. Nobody's going to vote for a vets. But the lack of logic with Barrett and Drew here is that they would obviously vote for an icon to win. These are their closest allies. Barrett is trying to be accepted by them. Barrett would definitely vote for one of them to win in jury. So if Drew and Barrett would vote for one of the vets to win, why do they think the rest of the house wouldn't get to the end and vote for one of these not icons to win the game? Also, Barrett, by the way, because you all know I got to take my shots at this bitch-ass Barrett, he couldn't sleep the night prior. Yesterday we talked about how he was the first one to get to Dee to tell him about the meeting in Lala's HOH room. It turns out he couldn't sleep the night before. He couldn't even sleep without the vets knowing that information and him wanting to be the first one to get to them to tell them the information before Drew. So yet another pathetic display by Barrett. Drew, on the other hand, maybe even worse. I don't know. He keeps calling Taylor scary, just continuing to add to these microaggressions against Taylor, who has done nothing to deserve all of these microaggressions and some just actual aggressions against her in the game. Drew thinking that Lala is tearing house guests apart in confessional. Dee saying so is Taylor. They are 100% this week playing into the angry black woman stereotype where both Lala and Taylor are concerned, which brings me to my new segment on the show, the Karen Watch. Yes, we're doing a Karen watch here because Dee and Angela, the two big Karens in the house, Haley is a Karen too, by the way, still. But right now, Karen Sr. and Karen Jr., Angela and Dee are watching every move from the minorities in the house. And not on a game level, on a personal level. If it was just on a game level, if they were just talking game when it comes to Taylor and Lala and Yash, it would be fine. That would be fine. But instead, they have decided to try and make it as personal as possible. Dee and Angela can't stop talking about Taylor, but really for the past 72 hours, if they're not talking about Taylor, they're talking about Lala, and if they're not talking about Lala or Taylor, they're talking about Yash. And it does have a certain feel to it, which is why I will keep calling them Karens. They were talking about how Lala and Taylor feels safe this week because Lala had HOH. Dee calling Taylor a bitch, which is something she now continues to do.
Yeah. because they think they have the power still, bitch.
Dee continues to be all bitch this and bitch that about Taylor, which is how you know that they've somehow made it personal, all because of check notes. Kamu wants to work with Taylor. Angela and Dee have sworn that they've tried to connect with Taylor, but Angela has been comparing Taylor to every good black woman Big Brother player this entire game. And Taylor and Dee have gotten along in this game, but Dee is the Karen in training and now hates everything Taylor does or doesn't do, along with Angela, all because Kamu is working with Taylor. Dee has brought up Taylor nonstop. That name just continues to come out of her mouth. And to really speak about the microaggressions in these conversations between Dee and Angela, for the first several weeks, if Haley did something rude or tactless, it was all about how Haley's a badass, according to Angela and Dee. But now if Taylor says anything, Dee and Angela call her a bitch. And therein lies the different descriptions for different color tones, which has been my issue with Angela this entire game. And now Dee has been playing into it for the past 2 weeks, just getting worse. Angela also sat there just like an old ass Karen, and a round one and a rotund one at that, saying she kind of likes making Taylor nervous. She thinks when she can sit by Taylor with her certain Karen stare, it actually makes Taylor nervous, which I don't think it does. But just the fact that Angela thinks that she can make Taylor nervous and she enjoys doing it is one of those things that should make you go, about how Angela really must act in her real life when it comes to all this Karen shit. For a brief period yesterday, Dee and Angela discussed trying to flip the vote on Chuk and trying to leave Lala and Taylor out of the vote, and Haley would stay. But if they were going to go to Kamu about it, I don't really think it would stay a big secret, because I don't think they want to leave Kamu out of the vote again like they did last week, especially when Dee has been trying to work on that relationship. But I think one of the things that really did make Dee spiral yesterday is how Devens told Dee that targeting Taylor right now is not a priority. And I do think that has caused her to be yapping even more about Taylor, because she has been all about Taylor this, Taylor that, bitch this, bitch that for the past 24 hours. Speaking of Taylor, we must comment about the Chuk and his smelly pubes, I guess, that blew up on social media yesterday when Taylor called out Chuk's stench. Which, by the way, though, Haley started the conversation. Taylor was just more blunt about the fact that she was trying to help Chuk with his hygiene because his pubes stink, apparently, and it has a distinct smell. Chuk got mad about all of this, but Haley agreed with it all. Apparently, Chuk's downstairs is smelly, and they all know it, and he doesn't want to do anything about it. And he's saying, well, where can I shave in the Big Brother house? I don't know, but you really want to go around the house smelling it up with your nether regions? Weird. Yash and Taylor talked about how the FAP4 are A4 and how one of them does need to be knocked out before jury. They also think that if Melody, Drew, Mallory, Barrett make it to jury together, they will vote based on bitterness and who they like, which I can't disagree with, especially where Melody and Drew are concerned, because Melody is a very emotional person. She's a Pisces. And Drew, we know, has biases. Dee wanted Barrett to tell Mallory that if she's going to go for Dee, then Dee will go for Barrett in a way to try and get Mallory to back off of her. Dee was doing the most. She's been doing the most for 2 weeks now. I do think it has hurt her game, because at one point I would have said she had the biggest grip on the game. She's been playing very sloppy, though, and kind of emotional herself, especially with all this Karen shit when she's making things personal. And I do think it's helped Devens and Kamu get into better positions. We also got a little more insight how these players might vote, allegedly, when it comes to jury, with Dee, Devens, and Kamu saying if you haven't won anything and coast to the end, they don't respect that and they won't vote for that. So Barrett should be shook about that. Yash was really wanting to be all in with Kamu with this primaries alliance, wanting to run things because they trust each other. And Yash and Kamu discussed Drew and Melody because they could target Yash and Kamu. And then Kamu and Yash had a good conversation with Devens where they kind of made a Bermuda Triangle alliance that I do think Devens is enjoying. I think Devens is definitely drifting more to liking to work with the Kamus and the Yashes rather than the Barretts, the Drews, and even the Angelas. And in this conversation, they discussed how they can keep Dee and Taylor both in the game in this alliance, protect them both, keeping them away from each other. I do think it appeals to the guys to keep working with both Dee and Taylor for now and just try to get them to calm down about each other. But only one of them is not calm right now, and that is Dee. In this conversation, though, where Yash was a part of, Kamu did mention that Dee told him about the icons got to be on the block next conversation and that the information came from Drew. So Yash should pick up that information about Drew. I mean, Yash doesn't trust Drew at all right now, and vice versa. I would like Yash to tell this information to Lala and Taylor because Lala still thinks that Drew and Barrett didn't say anything. One conversation we do need to point out with Kamu and Yash, though, that I did not like is when they were in the gym talking about how you can send a baby emoji to their Instagram messages and that will know that you want them to get you pregnant. Now, I would like to think this was jokes, but with the current culture of tradwifing, it might not have been a joke. But what made matters worse is when Melody came into the gym and they told Melody to tell the live feeds her Instagram. They said something about how we're getting you pregnant, like it or not. We're going to get guys in your DMs.
What's your IG? We're getting you pregnant, like it or not.
Yuck!
That was gross. That was weird. Just very strange. I have liked Yash's gameplay, but he's gonna have to chill with the weird shit like this. And I don't know if I'll ever like Kamu as a person, but he's been playing a good game for the past week. But such a totally creepy thing to say to a woman. I know it was supposed to be jokey, but it didn't land. And Melody already doesn't like Kamu, or really Yash. Lala decided to tell Angela everything about the Devens and Dee possibly being the next target thing, the whole conversation in the HOH. This is after she warned Drew and Barrett not to tell them, which of course Drew and Barrett already told the vets because they are the vet doormats. But Lala telling this to Angela too shows us how much Lala trusts Angela, even though she shouldn't. Even though Angela should try and work harder with Lala, but she won't do that because Angela does not have a strategic bone in her body. But I did think that was very dumb to tell Angela all of that information that Lala did. Speaking of dumb, Dee went to Mallory and told her that Drew told Dee that Mallory would put her up as a renom. So this, of course, freaked Mallory out about Drew and Barrett. She did question Barrett about it, saying that Barrett was a part of that conversation with Dee and Drew. Barrett said he didn't remember, and Mallory just believed him allegedly. The big problem with Mallory and Melody is they do not hold Barrett and Drew to task, ever. They're just pushovers too. It's like a string of pushovers in this house, which is how I think casting wanted the season to be. A cast full of pushovers so the vets could get far. Mallory talked to Melody about this and how Drew and Barrett are close to the icons, but Melody still thinks they should work with the icons for now. Melody told Mallory to not tell Drew anything anymore, but I wish she would take her own advice, dummy. But Melody is who you all want to give the next power to, and if she gets a good power, the one good power remaining, would she use it against the vets? Probably not. Drew freaked out about what Dee did. He talked to Barrett about it, and Barrett, of course, lied about the fact that Mallory questioned him about it, or he did not tell Drew this. He likes to keep information from Drew, because I guess why would Barrett give Drew any information when he needs it? But I'm supposed to sit here and believe that Barrett's plan is not to go to the end with Dee and let her beat him? Because that's the only person Barrett shares all his information to, is Dee. That is his number one. It ain't Drew. Drew and the Boar Four were having a conversation about the Beatles. Who's the Beatles? Melody said she's George Harrison because he's a Pisces. But the big thing about this conversation is when they asked, or Barrett asked, I think, who is Yoko Ono? Who's going to blow up the Beatles here? Melody said she's thinking it's Dee, and Barrett, of course, says, I don't know about that. I think Melody here maybe was trying to hint to Drew about Dee, but of course, bitch-ass Barrett doing as expected to defend Dee. But Melody didn't ever seem to confront Drew about telling Dee what Mallory said about the thing. I don't know. Melody gets so lost to me. Anyway, to end this video, Angela and Haley hugged it out. So if Haley does stay, I don't know if she can go for Angela or would go for Angela, if they would just have a Karen reunion, and then we have 3 Karens in the house. Like, really, tonight's choice on the episode between either being stuck with Haley or Chuk is crazy, because we either get stuck with Haley and her 1 brain cell, or Smally Balls Chuk and his no brain cells. It's no wonder I've watched 0 episodes this season other than the first week, because truly, who can be invested about the eviction tonight between these two? It's like giving us a choice between drowning and burning alive.